Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Very good morning. How are
Hi,
you, ma'am?
good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, ma'am.
That's great. That's great. You seem so happy. Anything good happening?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to improving my English and yeah, somewhat I'm feeling confident also after 30 sessions. Yes.
That's great. That's great. So, like, when did you wake up today?
I woke up at just 5 minutes before. As I told you, ma'am, I am a US IT recruiter. I just wake up and woke up and came here.
All right. Okay. So, when did you sleep?
Uh, I slept at mm, early morning 6:30, ma'am, around.
Right. Okay. All right. So, did
So
you?
today also I have a special discussion, ma'am. I want to discuss on something special, like
Okay.
earlier. Okay.
All right. Please
So
go
the
ahead.
thing is that, ma'am, just 3-4 days before, we went for a movie, ma'am. I saw a
Okay.
movie, ma'am. The movie name is Kushi. Have you seen that movie, ma'am? Saw that movie?
Kushi.
Kushi. Yeah, this is
Okay.
actually a Telugu movie.
Okay. No, I haven't seen.
Yeah. So one of the famous actor, ma'am, his name is I just forgot his name. Vijay Devarakonda, one of the
Yeah.
famous Telugu actor, and the movie is all about living relationship, ma'am.
Hmm.
Okay, something led to love and living relationship. So they explain somewhat better, and yeah, this is also learning platform, ma'am. Like I want to discuss on somewhat living relationships, whether
Okay.
it's good for India or not, like everything related to living relationships. So yeah, it will be helpful for the our learners as well who is coming to my YouTube channel.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. What is the
Yes,
channel's name, by the way?
this is a Dr. Learner, Dr. Learner.
Okay. All right. So
Yes.
before we dive into the topic, tell me, how did you come up with this name for your
Ah,
YouTube channel?
yes, ma'am. I actually, when I decided to start a YouTube channel, I researched a lot, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I get to know about the YouTube channels, ma'am, like whenever you are putting a YouTube channel, so the channel should be handy. Like, first of all, it's easy to remember. That is one thing I like got the recommendation from other YouTubers. And second thing is that it should be like something special compared to others. So these
Okay.
are the two things I got to know, ma'am. And when I'm thinking about learning something, so I decided that why can't we put Dr. Learner? So there are so many other channels are there, like doctors on different fields. Why can't somebody cannot do doctorate on learning? Because there are so many ways to learn something, right, ma'am?
Mm.
So I decided that, like, okay, this is also one way. Like there are many ways to learn something, so
Yeah.
why can't somebody can do doctorate on learning? So okay, Dr. Learner. It's something interesting. So
Yeah.
people can search for different ways to learn something. So yeah,
Mm.
I'll help them to learn in a different way.
Definitely. Definitely. That's quite creative, and yeah, that's a good name. I'll definitely check it out. So yes, coming to your topic. Okay. Before we begin, tell
Yeah.
me, what is love?
Love is an affection. Like life is love is an emotion, ma'am. It's all about,
Emotion.
yeah, emotion. It's all about caring somebody, ma'am. Whether the person with you or without you, you are going to care for her, for him or her. So that's all about the love, ma'am. We can find the love in many different uh, uh, like
Relationship.
feelings, ma'am. Yeah, relationships. Like my mother, ma'am, you can see how she is going to care the children in his
Care for
in
the
her,
children.
care for the children for her entire life.
Hmm.
You can see wife and husband relationship, ma'am. There also you can see how they care each for each other in their life. And you can see brother or sister also. There is also you can see a lot of caring for each other. So like that, love is all about caring. What I believe, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are so many other feelings will enter into that, ma'am. But caring is the most important thing will come in the love. So which is
Hmm.
where one of the most important aspect.
Okay.
Yes.
Try to connect prioritizing and loving. If you can connect the two.
Prioritizing and love.
What is prioritizing? What is a priority?
Prioritizing means, ma'am, like suppose, ma'am, I want to do 10 things today. Okay. So I want to prioritize myself to do a to-do list. Like suppose I want to do first this, second this, third this, like that. So uh, a structured way I am going to prioritize myself so that I can go for this first, then second, third, like that. So is it right, ma'am?
Yeah, so exactly. You give importance to something more
Yes.
than the others, right? So, like you
Yeah.
said, if you have 10 things to do, what are the things that you definitely need to do no matter what? And some things that you can still, push it to tomorrow or something. So then,
Yeah.
when you prepare your list, you'll prepare it accordingly. So you'll prioritize certain things and then the rest of the things will follow, right? So
Yes.
same comes with people as well, I feel, right? Like if three people are calling you at the same time for something, so you will
Yeah.
prioritize who to go to first based on who is calling, what is the need, and how available are you according to the situation, right? So that is how you
Yes.
can also prioritize. So I feel like if you really love someone, you will also prioritize them,
Yes.
right? So if you need to care for two people, but then who will you care for more, or who will you aid to first? Someone who you love, because you prioritize them, right?
Yeah.
So like it is actually, love is, it is simple, but when it comes to defining it or giving it words, it is quite complicated because it is a lot of things, and it is
Yeah.
different for different people at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's why we also talk about compatibility, because what is love for you might not be love for her, and stuff
Yes.
like that. So if it is the same thing, then great. Then there is a lot of compatibility, and there'll be less fights and more love and everything else, right? And if it is the opposite, then vice versa, right?
Yes.
Now, how do you find all these things? How do you know if you're compatible or not, or are your priorities similar, or what exactly do you wish to find in a partner? How do you get to know that?
First of all, ma'am, I want to tell you, ma'am, when you are in a love, ma'am, what this is what I really feel, ma'am, and I also try to do that. When you are loving someone, ma'am, please don't try to expect anything. If you are expecting something, no, ma'am, then you will feel the compatibility or whatever the other
But
vocabulary
do
you
you
may feel.
think it's practically, technically possible to not expect?
It's not possible, ma'am, but as much as possible, if you are trying to not expect from the others, ma'am, something I want to tell you, ma'am. If you are expecting little bit things like small things, that's okay, ma'am. But suppose you are trying to love a person, so you are trying to giving him something, and you are expecting the back,
Hmm.
then only the compatibility or whatever
I'm
the
not
other
talking about
vocabulary will.
materialistic things anyway. That is very, very secondary. Now,
Yeah.
if okay, this line can properly fit in respect to a crush. Okay, you
Okay.
cannot
Yeah.
expect anything from a crush because there is no commitment, or it's not a two-way thing or anything. But when it is a relationship where there is a commitment, or both of you are on the same page, right? Both of you, firstly, that will only be clear with communication. So that is there. But once, so you will expect your partner to pick up your call or to reply to your text, and if they don't do that, I can't tell you why are you expecting. Don't expect. That is the most basic thing, right?
Yeah,
And that is where I feel like most of the fights or stuff start. Oh, why didn't you pick up my call? Or, why didn't you come to meet me? Or you don't have time for me, this and that. So it is materialistic things are way secondary. I feel it is more about these things of prioritizing, giving time, like putting that effort and energy to at least communicate the fact that, okay, you are busy, but yeah, I am there for you, and stuff like that. So there is that assurance that you have. See, although I'm
yeah,
not speaking to him for the entire day, I still know that, okay, he has, at least informed me that, okay, he
yeah.
will be busy and stuff, and not like ghosted me completely, that I'm calling and he's not picking up or something like that. So that is what I feel.
Yes, ma'am. I do agree with you, ma'am. Like, expect we must expect something from our partner, ma'am, because that is only I must say that. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say here, that, ma'am, for example, suppose I want to call to my fiancé right now. I mean, fiancé, what we call, ma'am, the person whom I going to marry in the
Fiance,
future.
correct.
Yeah, fiancé. Okay. So I want to call to her, ma'am, for example, right
Call
now.
her,
So,
not call
yeah,
to her, call
yeah,
her.
I want to call her.
Hmm.
Suppose, ma'am, if she is unable to pick up my call, so
Yeah,
there might be several reasons, ma'am. We don't know exactly what is the reason. So before going to call her, if you are expecting something, yeah, she is going to answer my call, something like that, ma'am. It's not the right way. That what I want to tell you, ma'am. Like,
yeah,
yeah, expectations would be there, ma'am. In it depends on situation to situation. Suppose you
yeah.
are calling her, you don't know exactly what is the situation she is facing. Suppose,
Hmm.
ma'am, I want to tell you about my personal experience, ma'am, what happened in my life. So initial days, ma'am, I never had good discussions with the girls. So I don't have that much of good relationship with them in my graduation level. So once I engaged with a girl, like in my family surroundings. So, like, in the initial times, I also used to say the same thing like what you are saying right now. Like, whenever she's not picking up my call, I told her like, yeah, you don't have interest on me, something like that. I used to somewhat criticize her in a lower level. But later I understood, ma'am, like, I used to be a little bit serious on her. So she used to cry sometimes. She used to tell her, no, no, oh, actually the reason is this, like that. After she explained the reason to me, I used to understand, okay, oh, this is not the right way. I realized that, okay, there may be several reasons, I don't know exactly. I'm
Yeah,
in a situation, I am unable to understand that particular situation what she's facing. So then later I realized that, okay, at least we need to give her some space.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, if she is really avoiding her, then it's okay to go for a little bit of fight, criticizing or whatever it is. But in the initial phase only, if you are expecting much, like, whenever you call, she must act, like,
No, no, okay, I
answer
get
the
that,
call.
definitely. So there comes the aspect of understanding, right?
Yes,
So if you know the fact that what kind of an environment she lives in, or if she has a strict warden or strict parents or something like that, and you at least know that much of details that you can assume that, oh, maybe she's not in a
yes,
situation to pick up the call or something, then it's fine. Obviously, I'm not saying that every call that I call should
yes,
be picked up or something, definitely. But I feel like later on, at least that communication should be there as to why you know I couldn't pick up or you couldn't pick up, whatever.
yes.
So
Yeah,
some
ma'am.
people are like, okay, why do you care, or so anyway, none of your business and stuff like that. So that
Yeah, yeah.
gets very weird then. I mean, obviously I am supposed to know, or I should be told. Otherwise I feel like it's not what I think. It's not exactly the angle of the relationship that I think it is, and what. So there's that difference. Anyway, coming to your topic of live-in relationship, what is
Yeah.
your point of view? Tell me that first.
Yeah, this is a good question, ma'am. Thanks for asking me. So let me tell you, ma'am, living relationship is somewhat okay, ma'am, in a country, but for a growing country like India, living relationship is not going to be much helpful, ma'am. I want to say there are several reasons, ma'am. I want to say that. First of all, ma'am, the first reason in a growing country, ma'am, if there is something happened wrongly, because ma'am, when a two people, when a two persons who are in a
Something
relationship, if
happened.
yeah, if they are entering into living relationship, there will be a lot of things will enter into the matter, ma'am. For example, a physical relationship will enter, and sexual, and so many things will enter, right, ma'am? And their mutual feelings will also try to enter into the matter. So when a person is entering into a living relationship, after some time later, if they are decided that they don't want to continue with this kind of relationship, I, as told you in the movie, ma'am, I saw a movie earlier. So it will affect the India's growth also, ma'am. That's what I feel. What do you say, ma'am?
India's growth in what context?
Suppose, ma'am, if people are suppose if people
If
are
there is a
entering
couple,
into
they decided to like start
live.
a relationship. They live for a
Yes,
year and then they realize that okay, they're not very compatible with each other. So
yes,
one leaves the other. Okay.
yes.
So what is
So
the point of growth here?
they want to leave each other separately, ma'am. So
Hmm.
first of all, ma'am, once we are meeting with a person, suppose when we are in a relationship with the person, we try our mutual understandings will go much higher. Then, like, ma'am, there are a lot of feelings will enter into our mind. So like, suppose the first relationship will create some impact on your feelings, and you cannot come out from that feelings, ma'am. So the persons will enter into some kind of depressions, their feelings will enter into somewhat like what can I say, ma'am? Like they cannot come out from that kind of feelings
That is
after
okay.
yeah, that is
Again,
the
how
one
is it
thing.
connected to growth of the country?
Yes, ma'am. When the two people are separated from each other, ma'am, so what happens now, ma'am? Here, how can I tell you? The suppose, ma'am, suppose they enter into a relationship, ma'am, so their feelings are mutually connected with each other. So once they separated from each other, what happens here, ma'am? They are unable to contribute themselves better. Okay, ma'am. So they try to be
Basically, they go
depend on
into
some.
depression.
Yeah,
Right.
they go into in the depression. So due to that reason, like they are unable to like, suppose, ma'am, if everybody go into that matter, suppose the lot of people are entering into that thing, so then how the India will grow, ma'am? If the people grow, then only India will grow, right, ma'am? If their mindset is not able to grow by these kind of situations, then how they grow and how the India will grow, ma'am? That's the reason I told that. Yes.
So, firstly, for all of this, like, I don't think the live-in relationship is even required. I mean,
Yeah.
people can still date and get into a relationship, and without having a live-in relationship as well, they can uh, get physical and do everything, get connected, have feelings and everything, and end up in breakup. So all of this happened without living together. And breakup leads to depression for some time. But I feel like, okay, breakup means breaking someone's heart, and then, you also feel bad, you miss them, then you cry, and, you are low for some days. But that goes on for some time. Okay. Like let's say for a year or something. Okay, the Kabir Singh aspect is like way too exaggerated. Okay, I'm not saying that there are no, no such lovers who exist like that. There might be, but that is very very less. In general, the trend that we have is like they might be sad for a month or two, and then they come back to normal, and then so I feel like that 1 or 2 months of depression is better than being tied in a relationship where they're not happy. Okay, now if if you get married, okay, and then after 2 months you realize that okay, this is not the kind of man I wanted, not the girl I wanted, and there's no compatibility and all. There are a lot of other aspects that are tied, that oh, you'll get a tag of divorcee, and what will the families say, what will people say, this and that. And if you have a child, then oh, who will look after the child? So there are a lot of complications, and so people just somehow adjust and live their lives.
Yeah.
What do you think? All the people who are married are happy? they're
No, ma'am.
they're not happy. I mean, I'm not
Yes.
saying for everyone, but there are people who are also depressed, but they can't even get out of that thing because of
Yeah.
this tag.
I.
Right. So that is why
Yes,
they
ma'am.
are, but then still they are working, and India is growing and everything. So I don't think that should be, related to this aspect, because again, there are people who I know who, when they're sad, just to distract themselves, they become a workaholic. They keep working, working, so that they don't get time to think about anything else. And that is helping in the growth of the country, right? You
No.
even have
Yeah. Yeah. I do agree with you, ma'am. Yeah, it's better. Suppose entering in a very worst relationship is better than entering into something better for some days, and if it is not working for both of the people, then coming out of the relationship is somewhat better than living in the uh, something very it's a unmanageable relationship
living
like
inside a trap,
yeah.
or a
Yes.
vicious loop from which you cannot get out. So what other point do you have to counter?
Uh, so yeah, I really want to agree with you, ma'am, because this is true actually. Because now
And
in this
see,
particular
I
situation, ma'am.
personally, I feel like I kind of support live-in relationships in that context, because even marriage is a societal construct. Okay, and because of marriage, you get into such traps, and okay, divorce is coming up because now if you know that even if you get separated, you can still lead a life. But earlier the girl used to mostly be dependent on the husband. So if they get divorced, then she'll be unemployed, and how will she survive and all? Because of that, they just somehow adjust and survive. But these days, both of them are independent,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
even if they get divorced, but still it's still this thing that oh, she's a divorcee or he's a divorcee or something. So
Yeah.
it, it takes 10 times more of your mental energy and effort to decide and finally divorce than breakup, because breakup is just like okay, that's over, there is no paperwork or any legality
Yes.
related to it. But if it's a divorce, then there are a lot of other things that are involved. And
Yes.
okay,
And one more thing, ma'am. Very recently, there are some new laws also like came to for the this kind of living relationships, ma'am. Like now, earlier actually in India, living relationships are not acceptable as per the law.
yeah.
But right now it is acceptable actually. They are also given come up with some new laws for the
Mm.
living relationship, just because of seeing these kind of people are entering into arranged marriages and they want to come out from the relationships due to several reasons as we are discussing right now, due to very bad relationships in their lives. So somewhat I also like earlier I was having uh, kind
You were
of
skeptical
negative.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I am thinking little bit negative related to this kind of relationships,
I
but
tell you,
right now, yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I'll quickly conclude. So, although I do agree or I support live-in relationships, I understand the fact that it is not very good because when you are living together and one day one person just walks out, the other person is like left midway and they don't know what to do. So then, in marriage, if they're walking out, they are giving them half of their property, or there is a
yes,
compensation for that. And in live-in
yeah,
relationship, you have nothing of that sort. So that is something that you need to be prepared for. Okay. So if you know that you will be able to take it in, or you can trust the other person, that even if it doesn't work out, it'll end in a good way, then only you should start a living relationship, is what I feel. If you just go into something that you are not even sure how will it end or something, then I think it's a bad idea. But apart from that, I
yeah,
feel like it's good, because even when you go to like, this is something that I've heard in this movie Dear Zindagi, if you've watched it, Alia Bhatt and
okay,
Shah Rukh Khan. So in that, even Shah Rukh Khan says that even if you go to buy a chair, you sit on various chairs and see,
yes,
which one is more comfortable, which one is not, and then you finally buy. So if you're trying out different kinds of chairs for your purchase of a simple chair, why not for a life partner? Why can't you try out dating or seeing or talking to different kinds of people before finally deciding what works best for you, what kind of a person, and all that, right? So living, I think that is just another aspect. Even if it's simply dating or seeing each other regularly or something, that is fine. So I personally don't think anyone should be judged based on their past.
yes.
So that is how I would like to conclude.
I also want to tell yeah, that's 100% true, ma'am. I do agree. And whenever somebody entering into kind of living relationship like that, I must feel that he or she must be independent first. So if she or she can live independently, then entering into taking their own decision is the best way, because they are independent. They can survive themselves without of depending on any other person. Like what we're discussing, ma'am, in arranged marriages there is a kind of compensation or like that is available, but in the living there is nothing is there right now. So this is the better way. If they are independent, if they're entering into something, if they are not